No, just kidding. Don't do that. All right. So I'm going to just make sure this is adjusted how I want it. Vamos a ver. No, let me just, I think the way I had it was right. All right, so let's go ahead, todo el mundo, let's stand and start with your feet all the way together and your 10 toes facing forward. And then just notice right there, you know that you've put a little balance work in your feet. And I want you to rock the weight into the balls of the feet, rock the weight into the heels, and do a little check-in with your hips. Putting your two hands on your hips here, making sure your hips, la cadera is equilibrada, is nice and balanced. Good, and then you can take some attention to your tailbone and feel that your tailbone is dropping down, the fronts of the ribs are pulling in. Good, and then we're just gonna get light and rock our weight here, bending and straightening your knees. Good. And then as the knees bend, you can start rolling the shoulders. So just creating a little light movement, the shoulders coming up towards the ears as the knees bend down, and then feeling the scapula anchor onto the back, then the top of the head continuing to lift up. Excellent. Good. So now from here, let's step your 2 feet wide. You're still going to keep your 10 toes facing forward. And then that shift in gravity, maybe you're going to open the arms also just a little. Start feeling the weight move into one leg. Good. And you'll notice as your weight moves into one leg, that Achilles is going to stretch. Just enjoy a little heel to calf stretch here. Excellent. Good. And then you're going to pause here in the center and then start making this movement happen through the tailbone. So you're going to let the hips stretch all the way around. Good, and you can take those circles a couple other times, other way. Good, all right. And then let's try this. So you're gonna turn, I'm turning my right toes out, and you're just gonna bend and straighten the knee, and I'm opening the arm as I go here. So one arm can, that same arm can stretch overhead. Good, you're just bringing some lightness and some energy into your articulaciones. Good. And then from here, let's pause, turn those toes in, send the opposite toes out, and same thing, that arm can come and stretch overhead as you bend and straighten the knee. Just putting a little bit of blood flow circulation into your joints before we do anything too serious. Good, so now let's turn all those toes out. Open the arms and then exhale, let them come right back underneath you. So watch your tailbone and your sitting bones here. You want them to move out as you stretch. The hips, sitting bones moving down, the knees opening, abriendo. Las rodillas abriendo. Good. And then let's take a little pause here on bottom. Bring your hands back behind your head for a moment. And then you're gonna reach your rib cage side to side. So feeling the hips nice and anchored, and then a big reach of the ribs, lado y lado. And I want you to feel your armpit chest. This area opens up towards the sky. It's gonna let that get a little bit deeper. Stretch, good. So now both hands to the inner thighs, and then you're gonna melt your head forward. Inhale, stack it up. Exhale, melt your head the other way, and you're taking opposite shoulder towards your knee. Inhale, and exhale, sweeping over side to side. Try this just a couple more times. Good. And then from there, last time, go ahead, bring yourself all the way back up to standing. And then this time, let's turn our 10 toes back facing forward and take opposite hand to foot. Open, let your torso rise up, and then exhale, let's switch sides. Inhaling, open. Exhale, switching sides. Inhaling, open. Exhale, switching sides. Good. Let's do that to each side one more time. Again, feeling a stretch through your back, through your hips. So now with the 10 toes facing forward, Go ahead, let the thighs move back. Good, in this wide leg. And again, you're still just waking up your hips, sending the sitting bones behind you. Let the arms float up. Good. And then let's take the arms, float them out into a little T shape, like with the arms. Good. And then one more time, arms alongside the ears, floating all the way back. Good. So now pause, let the fingertips come to the floor, and then exhale, stretch towards one leg and then towards the other. Feel a big lift up through the inner thigh. Good. Good. And again, weight can stay nice and light in your fingertips. Keep bringing your tailbone down and really use the muscles in the legs. Wake them up, moving the blood. Let's pause with the right knee bent, and then exhale, stretch, reach towards them. Good. And then we'll release, bring that right back down. Pause with the opposite knee, left knee bent, and then open the arm up. Good. And then we're going to pause, 2 arms in the center, both knees bent. Exhale, bring ourselves up. Step your right foot next to your left. And then we're going to turn to face the computer screen. You're going to turn to left. This is my left side, so you go to the side that makes sense for you. So now we're going to exhale, bring your elbows in and lift your heels. And take that right back up. So stretch, reach the arms out, reach the thighs back, and then bring yourself into your center. Perhaps also lifting the heels if that feels okay. Good. Take 2 or 3 more rounds here. Watch your belly right there with your abdomen, right there with your low back. They move together. Good. And then let's pause down here for just a moment. Lightly move the thighs down and up. Good. Feeling the hips, the low back supported, connected. Good. And then let's exhale, lift. Bring your hands to the hips. One heel goes down, opposite heel lifts. You're going to take this movement just a few times, trying to steady the hips and pelvis. One femur bends, so one knee bends, and then the opposite femur tries to really pull up into the hip socket, all the while the hips stay steady, right? So now I'm going to pause with my right leg long, my left knee bent, and I'm going to take this bent knee down and up just a few times. So waking up my hip socket, 2 and 1. Good. Now reaching that leg to the side, same thing, 5, 4, and 3, 2, and 1. Now back behind me, and then the leg lifts, 5, and 4, 3, and 2, and 1. We'll set that leg down. Try that on the opposite side. So now this is my right leg coming out. I'm going to lift and lower, 5, 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. The leg to the side. Back and in, 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Good. Now the leg right back behind me, 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Very nice. Now letting the 2 heels anchor into the floor next to each other. The arms stretch up. Now the pelvis, the thighs move back, hands to the thighs, lift open your chest and sternum, and exhale round. So we'll inhale, lengthen up, and exhale round. Let this be a big stretch for your lumbar. Inhale up, and exhale round. So inhale, find a flat back, let the fingertips come down, and then pull the elbows into your sides, right? So arms stretch, they pull back down. Arms stretch, they pull back down. Arms stretch, they pull back down. Good. Now, arms out wide. Same thing. Pretend like this is an air push-up, right? Arms out and then back. Arms out and then back. You can really reach, pull with your fists. Very nice. Good. So now, hands flip to your shin bones. Try a cat-cow here with the hands on the shin. So you'll lift, extend the sternum. Exhale, round under. Really let the low back area get a good stretch here. Inhale. Head comes up. Exhale, we round under. Last time. Inhale, looking up. Now this time, walk your hands out. And we're going to go right and left and right. Good, so pause for a moment at a little plank. Your head lifted above your shoulders, your tailbone dropping down. And then let's try this. Right knee, left knee to the floor, elbows pull into your sides. Let's go 3 and up, 2 and up, 1 and up, pause, lift the knees, lift the tail, big breath. This time I'm gonna take my left leg up in the air, get a big stretch through the hip, bend the knee, and then exhale, hug my abdomen in, place the foot between my 2 hands, plant the back heel down, and then exhale, come up. Good, so now let's bend the knee, open the arms, and then stretch right back up. Bend the knee, open the arms, stretch right back up, bend the knee, open the arms, bend the knee, open the arms. One more time, bend, opposite elbow to knee, and right back up. Opposite elbow to knee, and right back up. Opposite elbow to knee, and up. Last time, opposite elbow to knee. Good, hold here for a moment. Let's take 2 hands down to this leg, and a big stretch. Good, and then you're gonna let the left arm rise up in a little Parivrita Trikonasana, so you've turned towards that leg. There we go. Good. And then exhale. Let's go ahead, bring your hands down. Pivot all the way around to the other side. Good, so you've just gone through, pivoted to the other side. Now I'm gonna step my right leg back into a down dog. And from here, lower my knees. Try elbows in 3, elbows in 2, feeling your chest, continuing to wake up. Elbows 1, now hold. Let your knees rise. Let your tailbone rise. Let the top of the head melt. Right leg comes up all the way, releasing the neck. Big stretch of the calf. The knee bends. It rises up once again. And from here, exhale. Place the foot between your hands. Plant the back heel. Arms up. Knee bends. Arms open. Knees straighten. So you'll take this just a few times. We'll go 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Pausing here, feeling your hips anchored. Opposite elbow to knee and up. It's opposite elbow to knee. Really feel that twist come from the rib cage. 2 and 1. Let's hold here for just a moment. Again, the twist is here. The core is pulling up into the body so that when this knee is here, it's light, or this elbow is towards the knee, it's light. Good, and then we're gonna sweep 2 hands to this leg as you allow the knee to straighten. Continue to reach the hip point of the front leg back, and then you can open into a twist, Parivrita Trikonasana. Good, let's exhale, release the arm, pivot back through Pada Uttanasana, and then you're gonna step your front foot back, lowering your knees. Once again, this time take 3 more push-ups, 3 and 2 and 1, very nice. Now lift your left knee, 2 push-ups, 1 and 2. Now lift the right knee, 2 push-ups, 1 and 2, and then exhale, lift your hips and pelvis, melt the top of your head down. And then this time the right leg comes up first, the knee bends, and then you're gonna exhale, place the foot between the hands, turn the back toes out, and sweep your top arm up. Good, so now again, as the knee bends, open the arms. Good. As the knee bends, take the arms up overhead. Good. Just feeling deep work through the inner thigh, blood flow everywhere. Good. And now we're gonna hold same elbow to knee and then stretch right back up. Same elbow to knee, right back up. Same elbow to knee. Right back up. Good. Now hold out here. Bottom arm stretches out and in, reaches out and in, reaches out and in, reaches out. So just feeling that bicep, circle the arm. Good. Circle the other way. Good. And then sweep your hips back. That arm reaches out. Hand to the shin bone. Trikonasana. Bottom rib cage lifts up. Top rib cage pulls down. Check in with your top hand. Good. And then top hand to your hip for just a moment. And you'll bend this knee once again. Step your back foot now into feet. So you can just stay here or get comfortable with the idea of taking that hand to the floor, bottom hand to the floor, and letting the back leg rise up. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Deep flex through the foot. Good. Exhale, setting that leg right back down, big stretch. Now these toes, you'll turn them in. You're gonna pivot to the forward side of the mat and exhale back into down dog on the other side. The two hips lift, rise up. Now the knees are gonna stay straight this round. Take 5 little tricep push-ups. So we'll go 5 and up, 4 and up, 3 and up, 2 and up, and 1. Exhale, lift the hips. This time, that back heel continue to stretch. The left leg lifts, the knee bends, doblamos la rodilla. And just enjoy this stretch here. It's making my hips so happy. So the way you get a good stretch is to actually lift the kneecap so it comes over the hip. Right, so that's the direction you're moving. And then from here, we're gonna place the foot between the hands. The front hand reaches all the way up. Arms up, front knee bends. And then we return to the upright position with the arms out. Good, so just letting the arms and legs here move in opposition. Good. And then we're gonna take a little pause. The top arm, or this back arm stays up, and then we reach towards the bent knee, letting the elbow tap the knee. Feeling this as extension through the ribs. That hand can come right back where it was. Good. And then from here, we're gonna hold in this down position, reach the bottom arm. So this is a unique opportunity to really feel the bicep. Good. And then let's hold that arm out and just circle it with the palm out. Circle it the other way. Excellent. Just building endurance, everyday endurance in your muscles, right? If that's all we do in this practice, pues that's a buena cosa. Good. So now push into your feet. Exhale again, allowing the chest to open, to rise. And from here, you can stay for just a moment in Trikonasana. If this balance work, if it's too early in the morning for you to do Ardha Chandrasana, no pasa nada. Don't worry about it. Just stay here. But Dikian's already going there, so here we go. Back leg steps in. Your bottom hand walks out 1 foot, and then you'll exhale and allow the top leg to rise. Maybe the top arm rises also. Good. And then from here, we're gonna set that leg down and stand yourself all the way back up. Fingertips are out, toes are out. Now let's hop them in. Can we do about 5 to 10 hops here? So just reach and hop. So as light as you can be in your joints. Okay, let's all go together. 1, 2, 3. All right, 1, 2, 3. In. Oh, this is really fun to watch. Out. Yeah, and in. Yay! Out. And in. This is my entertainment for this morning. Out. And in. 2 more. Out. And in. Last time. Out. And in. Good. So holding your weight now once again in your 2 feet. I had so much fun with those standing balances last night. So let's see how they're working this morning. So I'm going to put weight in my right foot. Maybe it's your left. Doesn't matter, we'll do both legs one way or another. This is my opposite hand. So the hand of the leg that's lifted, I'm gonna grab onto the big toes. I'm keeping my opposite hand here on my low back, just because it helps me feel where my head and tail are. And then from there, I'm gonna stretch and extend this leg, give it 5 breaths. Exhale, release. So something to think about is the work of the standing leg is to pull up into the hip socket, right? As you press the foot. So think about on your standing leg, how vertical can that leg be? How horizontal can the foot be, right? And it's that oppositional energy that keeps you balanced. Good, so now opposite hand of foot, and you're pulling the femur of the extended leg, that leg that's down on the floor, pull that up into the hip socket as you breathe. And so a lot of times people will say with balance, oh, I look out in front of me, or oh, I put my gaze somewhere. Something that helps me is to actually visualize the bone, right? Visualize this sensation. Anyway, enough. So now I'm putting this weight back on my right leg. I'm gonna pick up my left, open the knee, place the foot for just 2 or 3 breaths on the shin bone. Good, you can even, if you're feeling stable, sweep the arms out and then sweep the arms right back in. And now this foot can move up the thigh. Good, check in, asking yourself, is my pelvis neutral? Are these bones supported by my muscles? Inhale, sweeping the arms out once again if that feels okay. And then right back in. So you really want to feel outer glute here on this leg, inner thigh on the bent leg. Releasing, coming right back down. Shake it out, loose with the limbs. And then let's try that on the other side. So I'm going to pick up, now this is my right leg, open the knee, foot to the shin. Exhale, palms together before the heart. And then we'll sweep the arms up. If that's where your body is saying, take me this morning, and then right back down. Good, so then you can think about foot to the thigh. That's my brother calling. Let me tell him. Oh, wait, did I accidentally, Aaron? Oh, I missed it, okay. All right, coming all the way back down. Good, so now I'm going back to balancing on my right leg. I'm lifting my left. I'm gonna take the foot to my ankle to the femur. I want you to try a few little bends and straightens here of that knee. Good, so again, no rush, no hurry. Just see what happens when you bend and straighten that knee. And then if you want, grab onto the toe. And then exhale, holding yourself up. See if you can extend this leg. Opposite arm can extend. Beautiful, drop that sitting bone. Drop the sitting bone of the leg that's in the air and reach through the heel. Beautiful, everybody. Take that right back down. Baila, baila, like Brahman always says. And she is the boss in this house. All right, and then same thing. I'm gonna pick up my opposite leg, put the foot on the thigh. Just breathe, maybe bending and straightening. Maybe just holding this leg lifted is where your body's at. You'll notice how much your hips want to counterbalance, right? So let the thighs move back. If it feels steady, if it feels safe, grab onto the foot. If that feels okay, stand tall, drop the opposite sitting bones. So the sitting bones are coming anchored, and then reach the leg with steadiness, with ease. Good, you can also do this seated. Exhale, bend, release, voila, voila, voila. All right, so now I'm turning once again. Left side is facing the computer. I'm gonna step my weight like I did earlier, right? So all these little movements we do in class make your poses better. So you could just practice a few times. Stepping weight This is into my right foot, right? And then I'm gonna hold that weight there, lift my back leg. Try that just a few times, holding weight in the right leg, lifting the left, feeling the hips balance. Good, hold your hands here on your pelvis, and then exhale, reach that leg back. Good. If it feels okay, reach those arms out. 3 breaths. Good. Reach the arms forward. Good. And then if it's feeling strong, hand to foot, rising up. Little Dhanurasana. Exhale. Back to the center. Take a little pivot, and we'll do that on the other side. So now I'm going to step weight and get comfortable stepping weight into my front foot, right? Waking up the nerves, waking up the muscles. You can even push back a little bit with that foot. Good, and just think, oh, I'm making my knee, my ankle, my hip good at the act of stepping into it, right? So again, if that's all you do, why not? Excellent. So now, put that weight in the foot and lift the back. Good, and you can feel glute and hamstring waking up, firing up, in at the party. Good, party of bones. All right, and then from here, Una pausa, hands here to your hips, so take a little pause, and then make the pelvis nice and balanced as this leg comes up, and then once again, the arms can float up. The arms can float out. The arms can float back. Hand and foot can come together. You can rise up into a little Dhanurasana. Exhale, release. Let that come down. Good. So once again, just shake it out. And now I'm going to go to the top of the mat. This is my right side facing in. Tailbone comes down, inhale the arms stretch, reach all the way up, big opening in your chest. Exhale, this time take elbows to knees, then rise right back up. So elbows move to the knees, exhale, rising right back up. Elbows to knees, push and lift. Last time, elbows to knees, push and lift. This time hold down here, and I'm gonna put my right elbow on my right thigh, try to keep my back where it is, and lift my left foot for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You hear how fast I was counting? That was hard. This is really great prep for arm balances. So now, right foot is gonna come off of the floor for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. 2 hands to the floor. Right leg back, left leg back. Give yourself a vinyasa if you're feeling it. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, reach the hips. Good. So this time, set your knees down. And you can place a blanket in the center of your mat. And we're going to hold on to this here for a moment. Pressing the tops of your feet into the floor. Opposite side, right and left. Good. And then I want you to create a little undulation with your back. Good. So my arms are going to sweep wide. Thighs move back. Exhale, right back up. Good. All right. So now hold for a moment. And I'm going to stretch my right leg out. Turn my left toes out. And bring myself up towards the computer screen. Just hold and breathe. Good. And then see about the hand and foot coming together, back behind you, holding, breathing. You could even turn this into a slight little knee bent back bend. Good. And then exhale, bring that all back up. So now push your 2 feet into the floor, lift into a down dog. The foot that's closest to the computer screen, I'm going to step it back slightly and bring myself into a side plank. Just hold here for a couple of breaths. If it feels okay, you can pull that top leg up, top arm up, and give 5 breaths. Good. And then we'll exhale, release, bring it right back down. Lower the knees. Exhale, undulate. Good. Back to on the knees. And then I'm just going to turn opposite way. Try that little sequence on this side. So exhale, lift the hips and pelvis. Good. You can walk the feet back as needed. If it feels nice, bring your hips in, elbows to your sides, taking a little vinyasa, opening the chest, reaching the limbs right back. From here, we're going to let the knees come down. And then my side facing the computer screen is going to reach up and out, turn the toes out, open the top arm, breathe. How little weight can you keep in that bottom hand, bottom side? Good. And then exhale, let's see. Can the hand and foot come together? Big stretch. Opening, opening, opening. Good. And then exhale, let those toes come back behind you. When you rise up, remember, lead with the tailbone. Take the tailbone up towards the sky. Big stretch into the back. Releasing the head. And then exhale, right back over. Pushing your feet into the floor, lifting your hips. Walking your feet just slightly away from the computer, slightly towards the computer screen. And then you're gonna exhale, come up. So check in with your neck, make sure your neck is really, your head is reaching above your 2 shoulders. And then take that top leg also, allow it to lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful, everybody. Reach your 2 hips back. And from here, lower and let your abdomen come onto the blanket. So let's let the palms move slightly wider than the mat for just a moment. And allow this, let the elbows move forward. So this is a nice little stretch of your wrists. Give it a couple of breaths. And then exhale, let's come all the way up. Pressing in with your hands, let the belly get a big stretch because you're reaching the sternum up and out. Pressing hips and thighs down, reaching back and into the floor with your toes. And then we'll exhale, come all the way back down to the floor. So now, bend your 2 knees and take a second to move the hips and tailbone down. And then you're going to take right hand and foot together, left hand and foot together. Walk your kneecaps a little closer together. Push the hips into the floor. Lift the head, open the chest. Good. All the way up. Exhale, release. I'm now going to roll. This is my right side, the side furthest from the computer screen. I'm rolling onto it. And I'm lifting my top leg and arm. And you can let these limbs float together just a few times. Good. And from here, take a little pause. Hand and foot are going to reach back behind you again. Try that just a few times. Good. And then you can place this foot on the bottom thigh. Take your top arm forward. Lift the bottom thigh. Maybe float it down and up a few times. Good. And then from here, let's let that come down. Top arm presses into the bottom, or the hands come together. Let the kneecap move up towards the sky. So I always call this fallen tree pose. And I love this pose because, again, it gets so deep into the hips while you're having to really work on balance. Good. So there's no flexibility without strength, right? There's no strength and flexibility without being able to balance. The combination of those abilities, I think, really keeps our bodies healthy. Push your top arm down, the bottom arm float up. Good. And then I'm going to let top leg float out. Bring myself back. and stretch. Oh, so I'm in a little bit of a down or Adho Mukha Virasana, child's pose. So we're going to switch that and come on to the other side. I haven't found the perfect way to do this yet on the internet with a computer screen, but one day. So now, top arm, top leg, they're going to reach up towards one another. Good. And really let the bottom side of the body anchor into the floor. Good. And then we're going to hold those limbs and reach, tap out, and back together. Reaching, tapping out, pulling right back together, reaching, tapping in, y afuera. Very nice. Now from here, let's pause, bring those limbs up, and then the foot can move to the thigh. Top arm can push down, and you can try a few lifts of the bottom thigh, pushing into the foot. Just great work for the inner thigh. Good. And then from here, let's take a little pause. Top arm reaches in, and really feel this pose for a moment. So push the foot and thigh together. Open the kneecap. Really feel the rib cage. I can kind of lift my bottom rib cage. Pull my top rib cage down. And from there, push my top hand into the floor. Extend my top leg. Exhale, press, lift. Let this bottom arm come down and up. And then pull right back. So from this position, 2 hands down, 1 hip on the floor, I'm gonna come onto all fours. So let's try a little pigeon stretch. So I'm gonna use my blanket. I'm gonna put it underneath my right sitting bone. I'm gonna reach my right leg out and pause for a moment and get comfortable kind of stretching my hamstring. You can move weight forward. Oh, hello, hip. And then move weight back. Try this just a few times. Good. And then I'm going to pause with this weight moving forward and out. And then this right foot, or let's call it my front foot, I'm going to walk it to the opposite side of my mat as I then let my sitting bone come and rest on this blanket. Good. And then try a few little things just in your pigeon. First, begin by curling your back toes underneath you and lifting your quadriceps. So lifting the kneecap off the floor just a few times. Good. A few breaths. And then if it feels okay, you can walk your front foot a little bit further up the mat. Good. And then I want you to practice taking your hands a little bit out and try a few light push-ups here. You can turn the back toes over, feeling your chest open out over your shin bone. Good. Let's try this. Walk your right hand to where your left hand is. Same thing, maybe a little bit smaller push-up, but just moving your sternum forward, feeling those muscles, supporting the joints. Now switching. Right hand to the hip, left elbow bending, straightening. Good. And then let's try bringing your torso all the way forward over this leg, letting the hips continue to melt into the floor. Good. And then let's see. So you can bring yourself up. And then if you want, now for this next little thing, go ahead. You're going to slide your blanket to the opposite side of the mat when we do pigeon over there in a minute. But now the back knee can bend. And those of you who were really loving hip release, give this a go here. So you're just kind of letting the femur bone rock forward and back in the hip socket. And you're creating this movement from the tailbone. So you're stretching the tailbone forward and then you're kind of curling the tailbone under. Good. So then From here, you can stay here or try just lifting. Try this a few times. Just lift the back foot up. Good. Through those bones, right? So not using your hand. Then hold that leg lifted. The hand can come to the back foot, back hand, back foot. And then let the foot and elbow join. Top arm. Your hands could reach towards each other and your head could rest there in the crook of your arm. Good. Let's exhale. Release all of that. And then pivot, turning to the opposite side. So now I'm going to be letting the blanket come underneath. I guess I moved it over here. It's going to come underneath my left hip. So begin by stretching your left leg forward and then rocking the hips and pelvis forward, then rocking the hips and pelvis back. So deep stretch. Adelante y atrás, adelante y atrás. Good. Adelante y atrás. So now what you can do is take your top foot, walk it to the opposite side of the mat. Begin to bring your hips and sitting bones down, but you'll place it on the blanket. Good. And then with the back toes, once again, just to keep blood flow, energy in the legs, the knee lifts up, the knee lowers. The knee lifts and it lowers. It lifts, it lowers. Good. One more time. Then go ahead, lower the toes into the floor. And then from here, you're going to create just little push-ups. Each time you come forward to feel the stretch deepen in the hips and piriformis area. Good. So now I'm going to walk my right hand in front of the left knee. Come down and up just a few times. Okay, I'm really feeling myself navigating my weight, controlling my weight. Good. And then sweeping the hands to the opposite side, same thing. Good. And this is such a small movement when you come across the midline. All right, and then if it feels nice, if it's feeling comfortable, you can come let your sternum reach closer to the shin bone. Because do you see this is the back rounding. If you've entered a rounding position, see if you can rock yourself just lightly, gently into a longer spine position, allowing the hip bones to release. Imagine a sweet little baby elephant standing on this side, allowing your hips to level out. Good. So now go ahead, just for the moment, you can curl the back toes underneath you once again. And we'll come up, bend the back knee, and create that little gentle rocking of the pelvis. So the tailbone curls under, and then it reaches back. Tailbone curls under, it reaches back. Good. And then from here, a little pause, let the shin bone lift. And you're doing all that work in your pelvis, in the knee, anchoring the knee joint. And then from there, the hand and foot can come together. Good. So you could just stretch here, or let the toes come to the ankle, and let the two arms join together back behind you. Exhale, letting that arm come down. Now my top leg is going to stretch, reach around. And let's try this. We're going to do Gomukhasana. So this is my left knee on bottom. And I'm going to walk my two knees so that they're stacked one on top of the other, right? More or less. And you can prop this any which way. Obviously, if your knees don't come one on top of the other, the shin bones, that's fine. Just go there. And I want you, before we try to work the arms, just loosen the hips a little bit more by rocking the sitting bones down into the floor and then the ribs right over the hips. So this is almost like a little mini back bend. Good. And try that just a few times. Good. And then if it feels comfortable, let your weight sit there. Top hands, or my right hand's going to come behind me. Walk up the back, right? So this is the direction I'm headed. Ooh, and before we do Gomukhasana, take the left elbow across and just stretch over it. So you're getting a little stretch in the back of the arm here. And then we're gonna let that arm that was forward come up. Let the fingertips, again, hands don't need to touch. You just want to reach the fingers in the same direction of one another. Feel the armpit chest open up. Chin over one shoulder, chin over the opposite shoulder. Good. Good. And then we're going to try this little fun bit of shenanigans. So I'm going to take my two hands next to my top foot. Good. And then lift my pelvis, pivot all the way around, and then get the opposite leg on top. So now this is my left leg on top. And we're going to try all those same things. So you're going to rock your weight forward and back. So think about where your sitting bones are, your isquiones, and you want to rock your weight over the sits and let your back begin to open, shoulder blades move together. Eso, eso. Good. So now let's take a little pause when you feel like your hips are receiving the pose. And then the left hand can come in between your omoplatos, your shoulder blades. Good. And we didn't do this on the other side, but you can play with shifting your weight side to side here. Good. And then see if you can feel the place where your weight is even on your two sitting bones. Take the opposite arm up and then first hook to the top knee and then fold over. So this is stretching the back of you. Chest and then the outside of the arm. Good. Use your core to lift your head up. And then take your two hands together back behind you. Fingertips reaching towards one another. They do not need to touch. And in fact, if your hands do touch, don't grip with your fingers. Extend your fingers closer to the palms. Does that make sense? Not if you understand what I mean. Because you don't want to, if your fingertips grip, then your pose becomes kind of stagnant. And really, it should be about extension. Doesn't matter if the hands touch or not. Good. And then from there, let's exhale, release, roll the shoulders out slightly. And then take your hands towards your top foot, pivot in the feet, come all the way around on the other side, just so you've had that fun. Oh boy, and there's just enough time for a little relaxation here on the mat. Perfect. So let's desdoblar las rodillas. So you're going to unfold the legs and start to bring yourself down onto the mat. And I got my knees over my chest. I'm going to bring my arms over my chest also. Let the arms be relaxed and release. Maybe even shake out your hands a little. One way. Shake out the other hand. And then bring your palms together and then let one leg just circle by itself in the hip socket. The knees bent, totally relaxed. Try that circling the other way. Again, totally relaxed. Good. And now let the two legs circle a few times. Again, with the knees bent, just creating a little, sort of putting it all back together. And from here, your feet just land in the floor. Take opposite hand and elbow, and a few times flow, taking your knees one way, taking your elbows in the opposite direction. Good. From here, allow your knees to open, soles of the feet together. And take a big stretch of your hips. Allow the arms to open out. Let the legs open out. And now put some attention into your breathing. Allow your exhales to move out your nose. Allow each exhale to elongate ever so slightly. After your next breath, take your fingertips lightly into your scalp and just rub the top of your head, lightly tapping into your hairline. Pushing your thumbs in either side. Pressing the thumbs here into your third eye position, just lightly creating pressure. Taking your chin over each shoulder, rubbing out through your palms across the brow. Maybe taking your palms here to your temples for a moment, pressing in. Maybe rubbing in circles lightly. And then let's use a big exhale. Draw your knees over your chest. Rock your back side to side. We'll roll to the right. And come up into a seated position. Y nos ponemos palmas juntas. Your practice is a gift, everyone. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste. Namaste.